Hey, high school hockey fans, we got a lot of feedback after I wore a few jerseys last week, so we'll be sure to keep it up for the rest of the season. The State Champs High School Hockey Report starts right now.
And welcome back inside the State Champs Hockey Studios for another edition of the High School Hockey Report. I'm Jonathon Kidd along with Sean Baligian. Sean, it's the last week of the regular.
I can't believe it. The season has flown by. It seems like yesterday we were in here and Don Wright was kind enough to join us that first week. John and Jason Reynolds from Churchill, they're playing really well as of late. And here we are. I mean, just a week to go.
The High School Hockey Report is presented by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. Go to the hub today at MIHSHockeyHub.com. You got game schedules, rankings, stories, stats on players, and on their homepage, they archive our High School Hockey Report. They do everything to keep you up to date on what's going on in high school hockey across this great state of Michigan. Once again, the site is MIHSHockeyHub.com. What do you think about the hub?
It makes our job easier. I mean, because, John, not that long ago, like even a couple years ago, when you had to find scores, you had to scour Twitter. I mean, you really, and sometimes you had to really scour Twitter. So now, everybody's rolling in the same direction. They're reporting the scores. They're updating their stats and everything. So props to the hub and props for the coaches to make something like that happen.
And the High School Hockey Report is brought to you by the MHSAA, National Coney Island. Sean, your latest top 25 rankings just came out. It is on your screen right now. You can find it at our website at statechampsnetwork.com. Sean, you put a lot of work into this.
Yeah, it's difficult to do this time of year, John. It really is, because a lot of times what happens is in the course of a couple of weeks, and we do them bi-weekly, you'll have 2 losses from this team or 2 losses from that team. But I'll keep stressing this. It's who you played, who you lost to. And this is commonplace, John, and I've talked to a few fans from a few different schools about this. Look, there's the possibility that you might drop 4, 5, 6 spots in the course of 2 weeks. And that goes for everybody, not to mention names. You've seen some of the usual suspects drop. You've seen some teams that are really a good story drop. But that's the way that it goes, because, it isn't, I think sometimes people forget, John, it's twofold. It isn't just what your team did. It's what others around you have done. And I'll use as a perfect example, Brother Rice. I moved Brother Rice up, I believe, 6 spots. I think
yeah,
6
you're
spots.
up to 4 now. They're up to 4.
How could anybody argue with that? Based on their body of work over the last couple of weeks. Their body of work over the course of the season is really strong. But what they've done in the last 2 weeks, go ahead. If you want to argue with that, be my guest. So I think that's one of the good things. And, John, I've said this before. I'm one of those people, the more polls, the better. I'm for it. I'm for the computers doing it, my hockey rankings. I'm for the coaches doing it. I'm for the John Kidd rankings. I mean, really, I'm for it all. But I think the one issue that I have with my hockey rankings, if I may point it out, is I think sometimes they don't take into consideration how hot a team is. And in my opinion, John, it's just my opinion, I think you have to give a little more salsa to the team that's playing so well, like Brother Rice.
And Brother Rice on a 6-game winning streak, including a 7-1 win over Cranbrook right now. You said in your rankings on our website, statechampsnetwork.com, that they may be the hottest team in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, they might be right now. I mean, again, it's not just the wins, it's the way they've done it. And go take a look at the way that they've been playing right now. And, John, again, we've been saying it all year. Division II is going to be so much fun. I think there's that much that separates the top 4 right now in Division II. And the top 4 in Division II, in no particular order, is Brother Rice and Livonia Stevenson and Trenton and Heartland. I think there's that much that separates those two. And you've seen teams kind of go back and forth in that mix and beat each other, et cetera, et cetera. So it'll be fun to see how it plays out.
You have Livonia Stevenson up to number 5 now. They beat Heartland for the second time this season, 5-2 on Saturday afternoon. this time was for the KLA title.
By all accounts, just a fantastic hockey game. I think we're used to it right now. The level of physicality, and Coach Mitchell's done a tremendous job with this team. And right now, he's getting some tremendous goaltending. That's one thing, John. You've covered him forever. It seems like this is a decade now of Coach Mitchell finding a goaltender. I think Polson's the next name that people are going to remember.
Next up for Stevenson is on Wednesday as they take on 12th ranked Warren De La Salle.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one because, right now to me, De La Salle kind of bounced back a little bit and kind of flexed their muscle heading into the Division III playoffs. More on the region of doom later because, that region in D3 is disgusting. But, hey, listen, I'm going to say it again, and I talked to some of the people down in Trenton. Would it surprise anybody if Trenton ended up winning the championship again? First one since 2014. The answer to that should be no.
We have Trenton 6, and they took on UAD Jesuit. They shut out the Cubs 2-0 to claim the MIHL South Division title.
Now, you know what? Those are two teams that we were just talking about. Trenton, coming off the conversation. UAD is another one of those teams in Division III. They've kind of been my favorite all year. I think right now, the crown lays on the head of the Copper Kings, but that's not to say that UAD can't get the job done. And John, we've been consistent all year, both you and I. Division III is by far the most intriguing. I don't think it's close. No disrespect to Division I, Division II. I think they would both agree. There are so many teams in Division III that can get the job done. Certainly UAD is one of them.
And this past Thursday, Trenton honored the 1979 and 2009 state champs. The Trojans have won 14 state titles. Mike Turner was behind the bench for 11 of those 14 state titles. He retired in 2014 and is the all-time winningest coach in MHSAA history. Just talk about the success of the Trojan program for over 50 years. You know what? They are
the model for public schools out there. I have no problem saying that. And the thing about, Coach Turner is still around. You still see him at the rink. I had a chance to see him a couple different places this year. Such a class act. And you know what? Chad Clemens is as well. I don't think the apple fell too far from the tree there. You're talking about two class guys that lead those programs. And you know what? They go out there and they win, and they find a way to make teams better. There's, a plethora of good players down there, but putting it all together, getting that depth, picking the right depth, and finding a way to go next level is sometimes easier said than done. But John, all the respect in the world when you're talking public schools, I guess you could say success. I think there's Trenton and there's everybody else. Now, Brighton in the past decade has gone like this. But as you said, when you're talking 50 years of just getting the job done, boy, it's hard to argue with Trenton. A whole heck of a lot of respect from all over the state for what Trenton does.
And Trenton ends the regular season on Wednesday night against Cranbrook.
Yeah, there's another one. Cranbrook's another team. Don't count out the Cranes. No doubt about it. Again, that's what's going to make Division III so incredible to me. And that's not to mention, we'll tease people for next week. John and I are already talking about some teams that, okay, all this team has to do is win this game. If they can pull an upset here, they're going to catapult themselves there. There are certainly some sleeper potentials out there, but the Cranes certainly have to be considered one of the favorites in Division III.
Rochester United, you have 14th, is riding a 13-game winning streak after wins over Byron Center and Sault Ste. Marie over the weekend. And shout out to Michael Zierick for RU. How about that beauty of a goal on Saturday? It reminds us of Mike Legg from Michigan in the 90s.
Yeah, da-da-da. Play the Sports Center theme there. Phenomenal. And you know what, John? I'm going to say it again. When a team is playing that well, when you have a streak of that magnitude, you have to acknowledge them. And if you go back to last year, if I may for a second, remember Woodhaven put together an impressive streak last year. Was it 17? I forget the exact number. You have to recognize that. You have to give them credit as such, especially when you take a deeper look and see who they played. Country Day certainly got on a lot of people's maps last year. We were first, but they got on a lot of people's maps last year by their impressive win streak to finish the season that culminated obviously in a championship last year. This is a team that just keeps winning. And again, when you take a look at who they've played some good teams in that mix. So a great job by Coach Kowalski and everybody out there in Rochester.
And Rochester United will play Clarkson on Saturday, in which you have the Wolves now in your top 25.
Same thing. I mean, when you keep winning games, you recognize them. I don't think there's anything about it. And if I may, John, I think that the rest of the high school hockey world should take a look at what the OAA is doing and see if they can't configure something like that. To have that giant year-end, let's pair the teams off, and they're doing it at the Onyx out there. I think that's great. I mean, that everybody wins that way. Get them all together. I know it's easier said than done. There's no doubt about it. It's easy for me to sit up here on the pulpit and tell you how to schedule, especially when schedules are made, 11 months in advance. But I would love to see more teams do that at the end of the year, kind of pair those KLA or MIHL or Big North, whatever the case may be, pair it off and kind of slot it like that. That'd be a lot of fun.
Another team that cracked your top 25 is the Capital City Capitals from the Lansing area. They played Fenton Linden last Wednesday. State champs was out there. They came out with a 4-3 win, and they beat Jackson Lima Christie in overtime on Saturday. The Capital City Capitals has just been a great story.
Yeah, it's outstanding. I've had a couple people mention their goaltender to me, and we shared the numbers on the rankings list and everything. I think it's awesome. You're seeing guys all over the state come in and revitalize programs. Now, how good is Capital City? Really, how good is Capital City? The beauty is when you keep winning, you become part of that equation. You have an opportunity to prove yourself. And that's why, to me, John, that's how you kind of change the narrative. And dare I say, you become one of the usual suspects. I'll use two schools as an example. I think what Ricky's done, what Rick Gadd was done at Heartland, 6-7 years ago. Heartland? Yeah. What are you? Yeah. Heartland? Saginaw Heritage, J.J. Bamberger, they're a mainstay now. And that's the beautiful thing. You know what? You get the right people in place. You keep winning. You get some buzz about your program. And then all of a sudden, you know what? You start to go to some of these tournaments and you say, you know what? Okay, cool. Well, we want to take on Calumet. We want to take on Houghton. We want to take on Livonia, Stevens, and Trenton, whatever the case. And it gives you that opportunity. Doesn't happen overnight. Make no mistake about it. Ask the guys that have been through it. But you're right, John. A great story in Cap City. And
the Capitals' regular season is over, so we'll see how they do once the regionals start next week. They're in Division I.
Yep, it's going to be fun. And, best of luck to them and everybody else out there. John, to me, I love the playoffs on a personal level because every night I get to go to a different game. And sometimes I may drive, 45 minutes that way or 45 minutes that way. But whatever the case may be, it's just a fun time in the playoff.
We've talked in lengths this year about Alpena. You have them 19th in the state. They beat Traverse City Central 5-0 to clinch the Big North Conference title. Winners of 8 straight with Cooper Black and net and scores like Kyle Van Duzen on the Wildcats. They're going to be interesting once the playoffs start.
It's going to be awesome. I mean, you can't say enough about the job that Coach Limback and we had his assistant coach Cam Givens on. Can't say enough about the job that those guys did. And here's why. John, you know as well as I do, beginning of the year, there were a lot of people that reached out to us and said, look out for this Alpena team, right? Well, a lot of times when somebody tells you to look out for an Alpena team or whoever the team may be, it's hard to live up to that hype. It's hard to live up to those expectations. They've done it. And then some. Cooper Black, quite frankly, belongs on our list. I mean, period, end of story. I am but one of a group of people, John. You're part of the equation that select our player of the year. I'll say bluntly, I think Cooper Black belongs on our list. I mean, his numbers can't be denied. They won the Big North. And, as I wrote in the rankings for the old guys out there like me, this is a proud hockey community and a proud hockey tradition there. Coach Byers had so much success back in the day up there. He just made it to the Hall of Fame last year. Great story up in Alpena.
And lastly, in the Mid-Michigan area, the combined squad of the Freeland, Saginaw Deval, and Saginaw Valley Lutheran team beat Tri-Valley 4-2 to claim the Mid-Michigan Hockey Conference title for the second year in a row.
You know what's really cool about that story, too? And this is where the hub comes in handy. You can go look at their scores, and you can see how their season progressed. And this is a team that you could see got better as the season went. And some of the teams in their own division that had beaten them like a month ago, they were able to get that retribution and put together a nice streak and win the division again. John, I'm a sucker for the places that are getting it going, that are trying to do things the right way, and you're going to get our support all day for that. So congratulations to you guys.
Hey guys, Jenna Skelski here, and we saw on Twitter last week that I should wear the St. Clair Shores unified jersey. You like? The State Champs High School Hockey Report will be right back.
National Coney Island is serving up what you love, fast, fresh, and friendly, like our award-winning Coney, honey, or handcrafted burger. So you can get what you want, when you want it. National Coney Island, your craving is calling.
There's an old saying, you can never have too many officials. The age of the average official is 52 and getting older all the time. We're constantly recruiting new people, younger people to join us. After you register with the MHSAA, look on the website to find an officials association near you. They'll put you in a position to succeed as an official. We all learned a lot from high school sports, and officiating is a great way to give back to the game. There's help wanted, just whistle.
Touchdown, Falcons!
Welcome back to the High School Hockey Report, and right now I'm currently rocking the Riverview Gabriel Richard jersey. Now we're going to take it back to John and Sean.
Man, Jenna just loves wearing those shirts.
Shout out to Jenna. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Jenna.
The High School Hockey Report is presented by the Michigan High School Hockey Coach Association, and they have the Coaches Corner on the show. For this week, we want to salute all the coaches who have been on during the season.
You know what's awesome is I wish that we had more weeks and we had more segments that we could get everybody on, because to say that guys were willing to come on would be a gross understatement. So certainly thank you. If we didn't get you on this year, we'll definitely try to get you on at some point in time during the playoff. I know, John, we're going to do the Super Show from USA Hockey Arena. So not only will we have a lot of the coaches involved at USA Hockey Arena, but one of the things that we'll also do as well, if we see some coaches in the crowd because they have their breakfast Saturday morning, we'll grab some of the guys and we'll chat them up.
And throughout the season, when we talk to all these coaches, you can just tell the passion that they do for coaching high school hockey.
The amount of care. I mean, to me, that's what jumps out to me. John, the P word is first and foremost. You nailed it. It's passion. But these guys care about their kids. They care about the product. They care about where it's going. And, John, the one thing that, and I know you can attest to this, there's what you see and then there's what you don't see. Literally, hours and countless texts that you get from coaches, and sometimes they reach out to you to let you know what's going on. But there isn't a coach out there that I personally have reached out to that hasn't gotten back to me and hasn't helped me out. So, guys, honestly, we can't thank you enough.
And also, too, it's like they also have to juggle their other jobs. Some are teachers, some own a business. It's just the time management they have to do, and they still do it.
Well, we joke with a lot of the coaches. Sometimes, John, your day job precludes you from doing some things, and I know my day job keeps me kind of busy. Well, it's the same thing with the coaches as well, and sometimes I see some of the coaches in their day jobs, so that's always funny when that happens. I know you do as well. But really, can't thank the coaches enough. And we're not done with you guys yet. Yeah, we're thanking you now, but that's to butter you up, because we're going to tap you on the shoulder at USA. You can count on it.
And just lastly, you can just tell in their voices how great high school hockey is.
Well, we're all fighting the same fight. I mean, that's the good thing. We're all on the same team here. We're promoting the game at this level, and we're letting people know how good this level is now. It's not a secret anymore. And John, you see the scouts out there, and you see the guys getting their tenders and moving on. This is a great, viable option for all young players out there.
And once again, thank you again to the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. Shout out to them. And also, shout out to Dave Mitchell for giving Sean that big kiss at the MIHLK Showcase.
Love you, Mitch.
Now repping the Alpena Wildcats, and huge shout out to them for winning the Big North Conference title last weekend. More of the High School Hockey Report when we come back.
National Coney Island is serving up what you love, fast, fresh, and friendly, like our award-winning Coney, Honey, or handcrafted burger. So you can get what you want when you want it. National Coney Island, your craving is calling.
I've always been really good at math and science, and I knew I wanted to work in healthcare, but not as a doctor. So I chose Lawrence Tech's biomedical engineering program. I've pushed myself to take internships, like this one, at a hospital in an orthopedic research lab. Thanks to Lawrence Tech's unique, hands-on style of education, I'm graduating with a published research paper and a job. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Welcome back to the show. This is going to be the final jersey of today, which is the Plymouth Wildcats. I promise I'll be wearing more next week.
All right, welcome back to the State Champs High School Hockey Report. Once again, Jenna throwing on another jersey. She's going to try to do her best to put on all the jerseys before the end of this season. We might have to do some kind of fashion show.
Yeah, we might be here till June with all the jerseys. That's it. One more thing, John, before I forget. Thanks to all you guys for the jerseys. Yeah. Like, honestly, really, thank you. People, John, we didn't ask for those jerseys. People donated them. I mean, again, you are dealing with just a bunch of cool guys, so thanks, guys.
All right, and it's time now for our National Coney Island High School Hockey Player of the Year race. You can vote now at statechampsnetwork.com. We're going to freeze our top 10 after this week, so there's still one more week to make any changes.
We're in a tough position right now, and I've said this once, I said it 50,000 times. I almost wish that this list could be larger because I don't want to disrespect guys. You know, I brought it up earlier. I'm going to say it again. My opinion, I think Cooper Black belongs on this list. I think what he's done throughout the entire season, the body of work that he's put up, it's pretty hard to deny. But as some of the people on the committee said to me, who do we take off? Yeah. You know, I mean, it almost feels like you're punishing a kid, and you're not punishing a kid. It's just, you know, sometimes this is the scenario that we ran up. You said during the break, I mean, how can you deny what Gage Thrall's been able to do in Davison? And he has a great opportunity to, if he hasn't been on people's radar before, he has a great opportunity now with the season winding down and the playoff getting ready to start. You know, some guys have brought up McGrath over at CK. You know, so there are a ton of players that probably deserve to be on this list that right now we just can't do it. So, John, we'll see if it changes in the last week.
All right, and you can vote at statechampsnetwork.com. The leading vote getter automatically gets into the Final Four. We're going to announce our Final Four the week of the Hockey State Finals. As of right now, Zach Robinson is still leading the vote. So if he wins the online vote, he's in the Final Four.
What a tremendous season he's had. And, you know, we kind of found out that he was, without, you know, divulging too much, he wasn't playing at 100%, but he was still able to put up numbers and help Brownstown Woodhaven, which has been another great story this year, to some big wins. So big time kudos and respect to Zach, no doubt about it.
As we wrap it up here on the State Champs High School Hockey Report, it's the end of the regular season. And Sean, what stood out to you throughout the season?
Catholic Central, to do what they've done again, is remarkable. And I think this team might be better than last year's team. And what I mean by that is this. I think this is a team that has been uber focused all year long, and they learned the lesson last year losing to Brighton, and Cal's got them right back to the level. And I mean, they've looked so darn good. You know, as well as the people out there, there are so many potential landmines in high school hockey, not just in the state of Michigan, but all over. And Cal's done a great job there. The job that Chad Clemens continues to do at Trenton, I'm going to keep saying this, it's never easy to replace a legend. And they just keep going like that. So, you know, certainly that's something to be, I guess, remembered. Division III. That group, that flock, if you will. That's awesome. That's great for the game. I mean, there's no other way to say that. And John, here's the beauty of it. You know that there are teams that might punch their way into that flock come playoff time, that can pull that upset and punch their ticket to get into USA Hockey Arena. So, Saginaw Heritage, if I don't forget, I don't want to forget about them. Tremendous year. It's not just the wins, the way they beat people. And hockey in the UP. Marquette's having a good year in Division II. Calumet and Houghton have been awesome all year. Hancock. Mark my words, Hancock's going to be back at the level that we're accustomed to seeing them in the next few seasons as well. So just great stuff all over the state.
And, also, too, like Woodhaven, they had the winning streak earlier in the year. They're going to be in an interesting regional here next week with Saline, Trenton, Ann Arbor Skyline. They're going to have, what do you call it, the Region of Doom?
Well, I'm calling the Region of Doom, when that you're talking about a region that has Cranbrook, UAD, Warren de LaSalle, Detroit Country Day. You have a group of unbelievable teams, arguably top 10 teams, and only one of them can move on. And so, I'm calling it the Region of Doom. But, no, you're right. How about East Grand Rapids? In recent years, that's a program that you've seen go like this. We mentioned Alpena, but that's a great story as well. So, in years by, we've talked about Granville and Forest Hills NE, and Forest Hills Central's been picking it up with Coach Zaschek, and rightfully so. But now, you look at what Byron Center's been able to do. Rockford's had a good year. I think right now you could make the case that, Byron Center, East Grand Rapids, one or the other are the best on the west side. Much like we were talking about with Hancock. Hancock's going to be back next year. They're going to be what we're all used to seeing. So will Joe Brazil and Granville as well. Mark my words.
Next week, we're going to have the State Champs High School Hockey Report. It's going to be our playoff preview. And actually, we're going to have it on Monday. We're going to be back in here on Sunday taping. We're going to make our predictions. Just like how we did last year, we had a lot of fun doing our predictions. It's always prove us right if we pick you to win, or if we didn't pick you, prove us wrong.
And you know what? If we pick against you, we're man enough to pose with the jersey of your choice. I know a guy that had to do that last year. Yeah. I have no problem doing it again. Don't take it as a personal affront. I mean, the routine. This is, the playoffs. You're talking about anything can happen in 51 minutes, or dare I say beyond, but it's going to be a fun ride. So hopefully you'll join us.
All right, so that's it for the State Champs High School Hockey Report. It is presented by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. As Sean and I say at the end of each show, we'll see you at the rink.